While we're waiting, Dr. Katz,
Yeah,
while
go
we're
ahead.
waiting, I'm going to say that it has been such a big difference on campus this week. Oh my gosh, finding parking has been crazy.
On our campus, or
Yes,
You
I
know
work
what?
on your campus, remember?
I will have to admit, as many years as I've been up here, we went through a period of time where we had we did not have anywhere near enough parking. And then we went through a period of time where we had way too much. It wasn't a problem at all. Now I can tell just this week it's kicked back up. Something has happened, and it's probably positive, that now parking's a problem again, even for faculty. I've noticed if you don't get here pretty early, you're gonna have a problem finding a place, which is good. There's nothing wrong with that.
I usually park right across the street from the student center because my building's right catty corner to it. And I've never had a problem finding parking. And you're right, if it's after 8, then you're going to be walking.
You know, as Lou Rodriguez used to say many years ago, that's a problem, but it's a good problem.
It is a good problem.
It is. I agree. So let's go ahead and get started. What I'm going to do is kind of go through basically 4 things that I had in mind. And then, of course, you are all welcome to ask anything that you want. So Stacy already brought up well, wait a minute. Let me do something else. So I know all of y'all because I've talked to all y'all. I won't say, though, that everybody else has. So why don't we do some introductions real quick? And I'm going to just kind of go across my screen and start with James. If you would introduce yourself.
Do you want me to say a little bit about myself?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay. I prefer to go by Jim. I know my name on my Zoom is James because I'm on my work Zoom on my phone. Jim Martin. I work for Texas Tech at MSU. So everybody looks at me weird when I tell them that. But it's a great job and I love it. It's in education. I've been in education for about 6 years, and this is my first year doing it for Texas Tech. So I really enjoy it.
Okay, very good. So the next one I have is Scott Halfley.
That is, I think finally got my phone working. So
Good man, Scott, your tie's all undone, like you work in public school or something.
It's one crisis to the next. I'm the new assistant superintendent in Wichita Falls ISD. I've been there for 10 years. I was the athletic director and then operations for a year, and so diving back in here with you guys to try to learn a little something.
All right, very good. Dr. Frazier.
Frazier. I'm in my second year as a professor here at West College of Education. I'm mostly doing training. That's because I was a career administrator many years, and future candidates. So,
all right, Heather.
Hi, I'm Heather McFarland. I'm trying to get my video to work. I don't know what's going on with it right now, but I am a teacher at Saginaw High School. This is my 8th year here teaching. And so I just recently completed the principal certification program through Midwestern. And so back here to work towards my doctorate.
All right, very good. Dr. Acuna.
Hi, I'm Kim Acuna and I'm driving, so I don't have my video on. But I'm the chair of graduate adult ed and I teach in the master's and the doctoral program.
Thank you very much. Stacy. Stacy, can you hear us?
Yes, sorry. My Wi-Fi keeps going in and out.
Okay.
Hello, I am also driving. This is Stacy Whaling. I'm the principal at Liberty High School in Frisco, and this is my 3rd year as principal, and I'm excited to learn something too. Learn lots of things.
And okay, thank you very much. And Dr. Robles.
Hello, I'm Stephanie Robles. I'm the program coordinator for the Masters in Educational Leadership program here at MSU. Starting my 4th year here, and I teach so graduate level courses. I also get to teach at EDUC, so an undergrad course for students who are going to be teachers. And then I get to teach a core class, and then this summer I got to teach a doctoral level class. So I get to do a little bit of all different levels.
All right, very good.
So
I just saw Vince signed on. Vince, what we're doing is going around introducing ourselves. Could you do that real quick?
Hey guys, sorry, still at work. Vince Dawes here, at Richardson ISD, Executive Director of HR.
All right, very good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through 4 key things that I want to make sure we're on the same page, but at the same time, if you have questions about anything I don't cover, you're more than welcome to ask. This is the time to do that. So the first thing I want to bring up is the course sequence. So this probably looks a little bit different than what the flyer that we sent you. And there is an effort by the university to become more efficient about the way in which we offer courses. So a decision was made to blend this group of people with the existing group of people and basically create multiple starting places. We talked about that for a while with the dean. Dr. Cooney and I talked about that and decided, we could probably work through that, make some adjustments, and be more efficient about the way in which we offer courses. So you're not starting in a place where you thought you would, but you're still going to be okay in terms of getting what you need. And when you reach the point that you get to some courses, things are going to split off. So the people that you are in a group with right now that are the 3rd cohort, they're going to split off and start working on dissertations, which they have the opportunity to do that you need to make a decision about. But I'm going to come back around to that in just a minute. Scholarships. Many of you already have turned in your scholarship applications. We are going through a transition process as a university about the way in which we award scholarships, which also includes the way in which people apply for scholarships. We are trying to transition to a portal where you apply through that portal instead of that form that I sent you, and then we are able to award a scholarship through that same portal. And there's 2 colleges doing this system right now, us and the College of Business. So I asked you to send me that scholarship application, and for several of you, I have that. And my goal right now is tomorrow is to go ahead and apply that scholarship. And what I'm going to do is apply it all the way through next summer. So we can just do this once and be done with it. And that award amount will show up each time that you register. Another issue is midwinter conference. We in the past have paid for the registration and the hotel of doc students who want to attend midwinter conference. We'll make your hotel reservations. We'll cover that for 2 nights. Is it 2 nights? Yeah, 2 nights. And your registration fee. The transportation is on you. If your district is paying for that, that's fine. If you don't want to go, that's fine. It is not required. It's just an opportunity that we want to present to you. So within probably the next 4 weeks, I will start contacting you in regard to an opportunity to go to midwinter conference. And again, I don't want you to feel pressured to do that. It has nothing to do with the classes. It's just a professional development opportunity. The last thing I want to bring up is the alternate pathway. So I sent you a Word document that explains the alternate pathway. This spring, we developed this alternate pathway, and it follows a West Texas A&M system pathway that allows you to do an alternate to the dissertation and practice. The dissertation and practice is the document that it serves as a scholarly product for this EDD program. It's not on the same scale as a true dissertation, but it's pretty close to it. We just had our first cohort finish. I will speak for mine. Mine ran anywhere from 77 to 150 pages. I presented this idea. Dr. Cooney and I worked on it this spring, the early summer, to create an alternate to that. That alternate has a case study, a qualifying exam, and an empirical research study. The case study would be completed in the first couple of years. Qualifying exam would be completed in the third year, basically a lit review. And then the final product would be an empirical research study, 25 to 40 pages long. It's an action research project. So it's kind of like a dissertation, but a much smaller scale. One of those three would have to be published. You don't have to decide today which direction you want to go, but we do need you to decide pretty soon about which option you want to pursue. And I will tell you my perception of this is, if you think I eventually want to teach in college, I want to teach an educational leadership program, then I would stay on the dissertation and practice option. If you think, no, my career is going to be in public schools, district administration, honestly, I would look at the 3-paper model for that, because it aligns better with those career goals. But nonetheless, either way, you need to be able to pick what you want to do. I would say that if you pick a path right now, that doesn't mean you can't switch. If you decide right now, I'm going to do this 3-paper model, but later on you think, I can't take public schools anymore, I want to go work in higher ed, I don't think it's a problem to switch. If you think right now, I'm going to do something else and switch later, that might be a little bit more problematic, because if you wait and think, I'm going to do dissertation practice at the end, and then you want to switch, well, now you've got 3 papers to write. If you wait till the end, like you would with the dissertation, I think that's more problematic. You have to do one or the other. They both have to be finished to graduate. But they're two kind of different time frames to work on. If you choose to do the 3-paper model, right now you'll be working with me. That does not necessarily mean that you would work with me all the way through all 3 papers. But in order to get everybody started on this, I'm going to do the case studies with these. You've got an extended period of time to be able to get that done. If you decide later on you want to switch to somebody else for the lit review and the empirical research paper, that's absolutely fine. But we just kind of need to hear from y'all within the next, honestly, week or two about which way you think you want to go with this. So that is the 4 major things I want. Oh, you know what? One other thing, the Saturday classes. And I think that when the email that I sent out, I kind of conveyed this. Those are set up to where they alternate. And right now they alternate between our Flower Mound campus and the Wichita Falls campus. And they alternate by semester. So one semester, like this semester, there's Flower Mound, Wichita Falls, Flower Mound. Next semester, that's going to switch to where it's Wichita Falls, Flower Mound, Wichita Falls, and it goes back and forth. each long semester. There is a chance, although it's small, that that will change at some point. If we release our financial obligation to that campus, we don't own that building. We're leasing that building. If the university can get away from it, we're going to let it go. So I just want you to be aware that may change at some point. That doesn't necessarily mean that we will change our locations in terms of the Metroplex versus Wichita Falls. It may be that we switch to like a Frisco campus or something more centralized beyond Flower Mound. Okay, so that being said, do you have questions about any of that? To the faculty, do you have anything to add to that I left out?
Well, is there a possibility, Dr. Capps, that we could let them eventually see like an example of one of our students that just recently finished the program with their dip?
I will email everybody, all 7 of mine, all 7 of the dissertations that my students completed. And that's up to Dr. Acuna whether or not she wants to, because there is a difference. All of my students were quantitative and all of Dr. Acuna's students are qualitative. So you can see some idea of what's involved in that. And there, that's a good question, Stephanie. Even within my group, there's a drastic difference between what Dean Johnson did. His was at 77 pages versus what Alexander McClung did, which is 185, but it's all tables. So it gives you some idea of the scale of that. That 185, it kind of got away from us pretty quick. It was a big project, but it had a lot of data in it. But yeah, I think that's appropriate to make that available.
And then the only other thing I would say is that, so I'm just starting year 4 here, and so I was with WFISD for 12 years. And when I was working on mine, when we were doing the UNT cohort, I never in a million years said I would go to higher ed. My passion is public education. I never ever thought I would do this, and so that's just one thing. Like if I would have done the 3-paper model, I wouldn't have had this opportunity.
I think that's a good point. The reason I bring that up is because if you're going to hire into higher ed, and I think most of y'all know I was dean of the College of Ed, there is still an expectation if you're going to get into higher education and teaching college that the dissertation is the pathway to that. That does not mean that if you do a 3-paper model, you can't work in higher ed. That doesn't mean at all. I mean, it is you have a publication. It's just not the normal route to that. So I don't want to discourage anybody from either direction, but the traditional dissertation is the more common pathway into working in higher education.
And Dr. Capps, in the morning, I'll email you the qualitative dissertations if you want to send those out at the same time with the ones that I've shared.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
As far as timeline for these, my goal when we developed this program was no matter what you do, you're going to get done in the minimum time period. When we added this 3-paper model, still my goal is you're going to be done in 3.5 years. I think that we were pretty successful with that expectation. for those students who did a traditional dissertation in the DIP. And when I designed the 3-paper model, it was with that goal in mind of you're still going to finish on time, 3.5 years. So as far as timeline, I don't think it makes any difference. And you know what? My perception is if you finish the case study, the first paper, and get it published in the first year, that requirement of a published paper is finished. You just got to do the other two by the time you finish your degree, whatever, you're done. So there is an advantage, I think, that comes along with that. It just, I think, has a lot to do with career goals.
I have a quick question on, I know you said the class rotation looks a little bit different. Will it still be the same amount of classes in the same classes, just in a different order?
Yeah.
Or
And
will anything on that
I'll
change?
send this group a sequence
Okay,
that matches up with your starting point, so you can kind of see what's coming. But yeah, it's just gonna work on the same format as the third cohort. You're just starting in a different place. And this is something we've done with our master's program. We created multiple starting points instead of a single starting point because it helps our efficiency of offering classes. But I'll send that to you. That's a good question, Heather. Other questions? Okay.
Then maybe, Dr. Capps, maybe also could we maybe somehow get an example of the 3 papers to show them an example?
What I can send is what case studies look like, what action research projects look like, and lit reviews look like. I do not have access to what West Texas A&M did, but I have in mind what it needs to look like in terms of length. And there's a bit of a description in the Pathway Word document that I sent them.
So Dr. Katz, when we're working with you on if we decide to do the 3 paper model, I guess my question is, would you walk us through what the expectations for that, to give some guidance of what that looks like?
Yeah, if you decide to do that,
Yeah.
whoever decides to do that, right now what we're going to do is I'm going to work with you and I'll send you exactly what Dr. Boba said, some examples of what this looked like, and we'll start working on how that fits into your district profile in terms of trying to get that complete. So you're not going to be on none of this stuff. You're on your own to get it done. There's a faculty member that is going to help, and right now that's me, is to help guide you through that process to get it developed.
And I guess my other question is that, knowing that we're in this program and the work balance, work and educate, like what some of the experience that others have had that are going through, not to say that it can't be done because people have proven it to be done, but what kind of advice would you give someone who is in a demanding role like we are, plus going through this demanding program?
So I will speak to that, but I also want my other colleagues to speak to that. So I think the demand on this varies by what the class is. If it is a class, I'm going to take something like district level leadership, which I don't teach. Dr. Frazier teaches that. That class in some ways is connected back to what you're already doing. You have a context for that. And therefore the rating and the experiences and the work that's associated with that is tied back to what you're doing in your role. Well, I don't care if it's you're a principal, a teacher, there's a way to connect it to that. When it's a class like research, statistics, qualitative research, honest, school law. Sometimes there is a disconnect between the course material and what you're doing. And that, I think, creates some issues with time management. It becomes, honestly, I think for some people, it becomes overwhelming because you're trying to learn. I want to give you stats because that's what I know the best. There is such a learning curve with that because the vocabulary associated with it. Most people don't have any background in that at all. And trying to learn that material and apply it to the software program, it's a lot. So here's what happens. These groups, these cohorts become very connected to one another. I know that they talk to each other outside of class. They develop this network of support for one another. And when one of them is about to fall apart, somebody else in that cohort will pick them up, say, you know, you can do this. Here's what he's talking about. This is how you get this done. They'll pull them through it. And then when that person who was pulling somebody along falls apart, somebody else picks them up and keeps them dragging them along. And they help each other get through that. It's not hard, it's time consuming. And there's a reason why only 1% of the people in the world have a doctorate, is because it does burn up a lot of time. And I think the other thing that I've noticed talking to students is the sacrifice of family time. And I've told people for years, when you do this and you complete it, it's not your degree, it's your family's degree. Because all of them are going to make a sacrifice for you to get this done. You're going to have to give some things up for a little while to get through it. And what you give up and the time associated with that varies from semester to semester and course to course. But there is always somebody there to pick you up, keep you moving. And it might be me, it might be one of the other faculty members, it might be other students. There's somebody there who's going to grab you by the arm and keep you moving.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments?
Doctor, I think you just said it all. I think definitely because of the workload, and it's exactly what Dr. Cap said, but you just find that time that you're going to write and like not be distracted and not be disturbed and let your family know ahead of time. I had grandbabies that I wanted to spend time with and that I wasn't willing to miss like some of those times with. And so my time was 4 a.m. and there's nobody bothering me at 4 a.m. So just finding that time that works for you and sticking to it, just sticking to it, and writing.
You know, the other thing I would say is at this level, and it's easy for me to say that people worry a lot about their grades. Oh, I want to get an A. Don't worry about the grade. The grade will be there. Worry about what you're getting out of it and what you're learning from it. And the grade will show up where you want it to be. You need to let go of that and move on to a different level, because this is a different level of learning. Anything else? Have I sufficiently scared everybody to death?
If we decide to do the dissertation, do you know, like when would we be paired with a faculty member? And
Not till the end of the program. The
Okay.
semester before you take dissertation, which is the last year of the program, you'll be contacted about, you got to pick a committee chair. And any of the four of us, me, Dr. Cunha, Dr. Robles, Dr. Frazier, any of us can serve as your committee chair. You need to find somebody who matches up well with your way of thinking, whether you want to do a quantitative or a qualitative. somebody that you can get along with, and that's somebody that can help you put a committee together that you can get along with pretty well. But if that's what you're gonna do, don't worry about that right now. That's kick it down the road. It'll get there.
This group is gonna be starting in the spring?
No, they're already started.
Oh, wow.
They're a week in.
Oh, congratulations. I'm so excited. Heather's here.
Their first assignment's already late.
Oh,
I'm kidding. It's not either. Like I know, I'm not even teaching that. So no, they're started right now.
that's awesome.
It is.
Awesome.
How many is in this cohort? I know we're mixed with the other.
There's 8 of you in this
Eight.
group. So there is 17 in this class. All the 2 classes you're taking right now, there's 17 all together. And that other group, they started last fall, so they're technically 1 year ahead of you. And you may hear questions about this 3-paper model. That opportunity is for people joining the cohort this fall, because that other cohort, they're too far down the road. We can't back up and do that. That's something we came up with this spring. So if they bring that up, don't worry about it. Just tell them, go ask me about it.
Exchange numbers.
Right. Anything else? Going once, going twice. Okay. If you think of something else afterwards, by all means, email me or call me. I would be glad to answer any of the questions that you have. Beyond that, if something else comes up down the road, don't just dwell on it. Ask, because odds are if you're asking, somebody else has asked that question too, and we'll be glad to field that for you. Okay.
Before you leave, so we will be
Yes, sir.
notified tomorrow of the scholarship if we get the scholarship or not, correct?
Okay,
Because that's,
so you're gonna get the scholarship. That's not a problem. I just need some paperwork to be able to associate with.
okay. Just want to make sure.
No, you're good, man.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. I'm gonna take care of that tomorrow. I just need a piece of paperwork to connect to it, and you'll be good through next summer.
Sounds good.
Okay, I'll take care of everything else.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. Hope you have a good evening. And if you need something else, let me know.
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
Bye, guys.
Nice to meet all of you.
Bye. Nice to meet you all.